I'm gonna call it the way it was, Mum. You abandoned me as a child. You abandoned me as a child. Hi, Mum.
Hi, Nancy. How are you, my daughter?
I'm all right. I wanted to talk to you about something important that I feel we've needed to speak about for a long time. You know how I used to work a lot when we were young? I just felt I never saw you around as much. And when it came to important things like parents' evening or school awards, you were either late and missed everything, or you just didn't show up.
Nancy, what was I supposed to do? I had to work for you guys as a mother. That's very hurtful of you to say.
But this is still how I felt at the time. I was only young. For example, when I was in primary school, every time you picked me up, I was always so excited because it wasn't something that happened often. But then when you were late or you just forgot, it made me feel like I wasn't important to you. And if I dared tell you, I know what reaction I would receive. And you always ask me now, why don't I open up and express myself to you? It's because this is how I've learnt to be from childhood.
Nancy?
Mom, please, let me just say this. When Dad got worse, I didn't know how to feel, so I just ignored my feelings. I was always going out just so I didn't have to be at home to face my reality. No one knew what was going on at home because I was never used to expressing how I felt. But then, when I heard the news, it felt like a spear went through my chest. I can honestly say that was the worst pain I've ever felt. And I couldn't speak to anyone about it because I just didn't know how. I was only 17, and I didn't know what my emotions were. But I spent so much time navigating my way through yours to help you. So when I came home that day and found you getting ready to go back to Botswana, I was confused and hurt, especially because you didn't tell us when you'd be back. I'm gonna call it the way it was, Mum. You abandoned me as a child. I've come now to realize in my adult life and after therapy that these issues have manifested themselves. Like, I will always stay in abusive relationships through fear of being alone or abandoned. And this came from my childhood.
Wow. I never knew that this was what you were going through. I always wondered why you were so quiet. It also made me realize about my own upbringing and how I think this has contributed to who I am today. When we grew up back in Botswana, we came from a poor upbringing. My mother did all she could to make sure that we have everything we needed. When I was there, I knew that this was not a place I wanted to be, let alone raise my children in. We have a culture for women that they should stay at home, cleaning and cooking for their husbands. And I knew this is not for me. I wanted more. My mom loved us so much, but I felt so much pressure to be the type of woman that she wanted me, that I knew I couldn't. So I left Botswana to go and pursue a career in the UK, where I could make something of myself. It was so hard in this country for me to excel the way I wanted. I always had to prove myself, but I was determined. You know your dad, he was very stuck in his ways at times. I started to feel those same pressure again that I felt from your Uma to be the perfect wife. I really resented this idea being forced on me, and it made me want to work even harder. I was doing well and excelling in my career. I wanted to be someone that my children and I would be proud of. When your dad wasn't able to help out anymore, I was trying to hold all together, but everything was falling apart. And at that time, You were living your life. I could see that you were dealing with this a lot better than me. After your dad passed away, you didn't say anything or show your emotions. I thought that if I expressed myself to you and cry with you, then maybe you would open up. But I didn't know how to say it directly. Eventually, I just thought that everyone was handling the situation better. I knew I couldn't burden my children with my emotions anymore and had to leave so that I could come back better and stronger for myself and for you guys.
You never expressed that to me. Why didn't you tell me that was the reason you left?
It didn't come to me to tell you that because in our culture, it is not a thing where we explain ourselves and what we are doing to our children.
But don't you see how damaging that could be? Like all this time I thought you left just like you didn't care.
Of course I care. I care for you guys more than anything in the world.
I want a relationship where we can talk and be honest with each other. I want to get to know you and your experiences. I think it'll help me learn the person you are now.
And that will make me very happy. And I'm so sorry that you went through those emotions alone. If I had known, I would have done things differently.
It's okay. I understand. You're only human.